Takahiro Shiraishi, a 27-year-old loner from Zama, Japan, dubbed the Twitter Killer, committed one of the most gruesome serial killing sprees in modern history. Between August and October 2017, he lured 9 people, 8 young women and 1 man, aged 15 to 26, to his apartment, where he raped, strangled, and dismembered them, stashing their remains in coolers and toolboxes. In this documentary, we dissect his chilling crimes through the lens of psychology and psychoanalysis, unraveling the twisted mind behind these atrocities. Why focus on Takahiro Shiraishi? His case isn't just horrifying, it's a psychological puzzle that demands exploration. Shiraishi's method was uniquely sinister. He preyed on vulnerable, suicidal people via Twitter, posing as a savior offering to help them die. This predatory manipulation, rooted in psychological exploitation, makes him a compelling subject for analysis. Picture this: a small, dingy apartment in Zama, reeking of decay, where police uncover 3 cooler boxes and 5 toolboxes stuffed with severed heads, limbs, and bones, dusted with cat litter to mask the stench. Shiraishi raped his female victims, strangled them with ropes, and hacked their bodies apart with a saw, discarding scraps in the trash like garbage. He even killed a man, a boyfriend seeking his missing girlfriend, to silence him. This isn't just murder. It's a calculated descent into a house of horrors, a nightmare that screams for psychological scrutiny. To understand Takahiro Shiraishi, we need to rewind his beginnings. Born on October 9, 1990, in Zama, Kanagawa Prefecture, Shiraishi grew up in a seemingly ordinary working-class family. Details about his childhood are sparse, but reports suggest a quiet, unremarkable kid who faded into the background. His father, a salaryman, was often absent, and Shiraishi once told him, "My life has no meaning," a chilling hint of the void within him. Psychologically, this statement points to existential despair, a sense of purposelessness that can fester into dangerous pathologies. Growing up in Japan's high-pressure society, where conformity is king, Shiraishi may have felt like an outsider, disconnected from the collective. Attachment theory suggests that weak emotional bonds with caregivers can lead to a stunted ability to empathize, planting seeds for later antisocial behavior. By his teens, Shiraishi was dabbling in choking games with friends, a red flag for a fascination with control and death. Psychoanalytically, this could signal an early fixation on thanatos, Freud's concept of the death drive, where destructive impulses override life-affirming ones. His lack of academic success and failure to secure stable employment further isolated him. Before his killing spree, he worked as a scout in Tokyo's Kabukicho red light district, luring young women into sex work. Locals called him a creepy scout, hinting at his predatory nature even then. This job wasn't just a paycheck. It was a training ground for manipulation, teaching him how to exploit vulnerability, a skill he'd later perfect on Twitter. Shiraishi's crimes weren't random. They were a meticulously planned campaign of predation. In March 2017, he set up Twitter accounts like Hanging Pro and I Want to Die, posing as a suicidal ally to connect with desperate souls. His messages were chillingly calculated. Let's die together, or I can help you if you're in pain. He targeted young women and girls, mostly aged 15 to 26, who posted about wanting to end their lives. Why them? Psychologically, Shiraishi exhibited traits of antisocial personality disorder, marked by a lack of empathy and a knack for manipulation. His victims' vulnerability made them easy prey. He could dominate them without resistance. Sadistic personality traits likely fueled his need to control, rape, and kill, deriving pleasure from their suffering. Psychoanalytically, Shiraishi's choice of suicidal victims suggests a projection of his own despair. Object relations theory posits that individuals with fractured self-concepts view others as objects to fulfill their needs. To Shiraishi, his victims weren't people. They were tools for his sexual and financial gratification. He admitted to police that sex was his primary motive, exploiting their fragile states to fulfill fantasies without fear of rejection. The act of strangulation, slow, intimate, and controlling, points to a need for ultimate power, a twisted way to silence his own inner emptiness. His dismemberment of bodies, meanwhile, reflects depersonalization, reducing human beings to mere parts. stripping them of dignity even in death. Close your eyes and imagine this. A cramped one-room apartment in Zama, the air thick with the sickly sweet stench of rotting flesh. It's October 31st, 2017, and police step inside, their flashlights cutting through the dim. They find 3 cooler boxes and 5 toolboxes, each a grotesque treasure chest. Inside, 9 severed heads stare blankly. Limbs are neatly stacked, and bones are scraped clean, sprinkled with cat litter to hide the decay. Ropes and a saw lie nearby, tools of a butcher's trade. Neighbors had complained for months about the smell, but no one acted until a missing 23-year-old woman's brother traced her Twitter messages to Shiraishi. "She's in the freezer," he told police, his voice flat, as if the horror had numbed him. The victims, 8 women, including 3 high school girls and 1 man, were lured to the slaughterhouse under the guise of compassion. Shiraishi raped the women, some while they slept, others as they begged for mercy. He strangled them with ropes, watching life drain from their eyes. One victim, a 21-year-old woman, helped him rent the apartment and transferred $4,500 to his account, only to be killed to avoid repayment. Her boyfriend, suspicious, confronted Shiraishi and met the same fate. Media reports described the scene as a house of horrors, with NHK quoting police. "The dignity of the victims was trampled upon." Witnesses recalled Shiraishi as eerily calm, a man who moved through life like a ghost, his apartment a tomb for those he ensnared. Let's peel back the layers of Shiraishi's mind. He likely suffered from a cocktail of psychological issues, with narcissistic personality, disorder traits at the forefront. NPD involved a grandiose sense of self, a need for control, and a chilling lack of empathy. Shiraishi's Twitter persona, Hanging Pro, was a mask of false empathy, a lure to trap the vulnerable. His ability to manipulate suggests Machiavellianism, a trait where deceit and exploitation are tools for personal gain. Psychoanalytically, his actions scream of repetition compulsion, a Freudian concept where individuals reenact traumatic patterns to master them. Shiraishi's choking games as a teen and his later strangulations suggest a lifelong obsession with controlling life and death. His sexual assaults point to paraphilic sadism, a disorder where sexual gratification comes from inflicting pain or humiliation. The act of dismemberment, meanwhile, could reflect necrophilic tendencies, a need to possess his victims even after death. Cognitive distortions allowed him to justify his actions. He told police he targeted suicidal people because they were easy to manipulate. This dehumanization is classic in serial killers, who see victims as objects, not people. His financial motives, stealing from victims, add another layer, suggesting a parasitic lifestyle rooted in entitlement. Japan's high-pressure culture, coupled with his failure to find purpose, likely amplified his descent into nihilism, where life held no value, not even his own. Shiraishi's reign of terror ended on October 31st, 2017, when police, tipped off by a victim's brother, raided his apartment. The brother had accessed his missing sister's Twitter account, finding messages from Shiraishi's Hanging Pro handle. Surveillance footage showed her walking with Shiraishi on October 23rd, leading police to his door. When asked where she was, Shiraishi pointed to a freezer, his demeanor chillingly detached. The discovery of 9 dismembered bodies shocked Japan, a low-crime nation unaccustomed to such horrors. Over 600 people lined up for 13 courtroom seats at his first hearing, a testament to the case's grip on the public. In court, Shiraishi pleaded guilty on October 1st, 2020, admitting to 9 murders, rape, robbery, and corpse desecration. His lawyers argued for murder with consent, claiming his victims wanted to die, but Shiraishi himself rejected this, admitting he killed without consent. There were bruises on their heads, he told the Mainichi Shimbun. I did it so they wouldn't resist. Judge Naoki Niyano called the crimes cunning and cruel, sentencing him to death on December 15, 2020. Shiraishi, true to his word, didn't appeal. On June 27, 2025, he was hanged at the Tokyo Detention House, his execution shrouded in Japan's secretive death penalty system. Justice Minister Keisuke Suzuki called the crimes selfish, driven by sexual and financial desires, leaving society reeling. Shiraishi's story is a descent into the void, a nihilistic tragedy that challenges our understanding of humanity. From an existentialist perspective, he embodies Sartre's concept of bad faith, denying his freedom to choose morality, instead surrendering to his darkest impulses. He treated his victims as objects, stripping them of agency, a violation of Kant's categorical imperative. To treat others as ends, not means. His execution, while final, raises questions about justice. The father of one victim told in HK, "I'd rather he spent his life reflecting than losing it." This speaks to a deeper tension. Does death absolve guilt or merely silence it? Philosophically, Shiraishi's crimes reflect a rejection of meaning, a life consumed by thanatos. His Twitter persona promised connection, but delivered destruction, a twisted mirror of society's obsession with digital facades. His end, hanging in secrecy, forces us to confront the fragility of empathy in a world where pain is a click away. What does it say about us when a killer can hide behind a screen, preying on the desperate? Shiraishi's legacy is a warning. The line between human and monster is thinner than we think. As we pull back from Zama's House of Horrors, the images linger. A freezer packed with human remains, a rope stained with fear, a young girl's tweet crying for help, answered by a predator. Shiraishi's story isn't just about 9 lives lost. It's about a society where despair is a hunting ground. Psychologically, he's a case study in manipulation and sadism, a man who turned empathy into a weapon. Philosophically, he's a shadow of our own failures, a reminder that evil thrives in silence. This documentary leaves your heart racing, your breath shallow, and your mind wrestling with a question: how do we stop the next Shiraishi before the coolers fill again?